I want you to take a step back and think about when you were dreaming of being a business owner. You're first starting your business. Think about the excitement. Think about you were going to do what you loved. Maybe you were forced into this situation, but you were excited and energized. You're going to be wildly successful. Everything is just going to go so wonderfully, right? And you're going to make lots of money. Everybody's making lots and lots of money, right? And it's going to be so easy. Or maybe not. We've got a lot of different hats we're wearing. We're going in a lot of different directions. And a lot of times, sometimes we get lost in all that. So reality is that we start pushing our way up the hill. We keep on going. And at some point, sometimes we just want to drop the ball. We just want to let it go. And this is just all too much work to get it done. You ever felt like you were chasing the next big sale? Always trying to go after that next dollar, that next big client. If I only had 5 more clients, everything would be perfect. Got to spend money to make money. Have you ever heard that one? And we do. I'm not saying we don't. But sometimes we get caught up in so much spending that we aren't really looking at what we're spending and looking at that ROI on what those expenses are costing us. Everybody else seems to get paid, the vendors, the employees, but sometimes we don't get anything. And then our families are wondering why we can't go out for dinner, right? Because we as small business owners tend to bring in the money and then we spend it before we pay ourselves. Anybody been there? So, making enough profit is really the key. I mean, we are in business for one reason. I mean, the main reason is to make money. I mean, I would do what I'm doing if I didn't have to make money, so that's one part. But we want to live. There's a style of a living that we want, and so our business is what happens and what is going to make that. But if we don't make sure we're making the profit, that's not going to happen. So you're not alone if you feel like, I've been talking about you, 28 million small businesses, and this is from the SB, Small Business Administration statistics, 28 million in the US, and 22 million are at break even. That's really scary. And I would have to agree that I was one of those. Sometimes I didn't even make a profit. So I'm hoping today I'm going to give you at least a little bit insight into Profit First so that you can join me along with other people that have implemented this program. So Forbes said 8 out of 10 small businesses fail. And they have 5 top reasons. But one of those top reasons is the inability to have a profitable business model. And I want to kind of challenge that a little bit because I think every business that can sell and make sales can be profitable. So it's really not maybe the business model, it's the way you've implemented and how you're handling it. So, do you want more profit? Yes. All right. So we're going to talk the Profit First method is based on a book, Mike Michalowicz, and some of you might have read his prior books. The first book he wrote was The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. Anybody read that? And then his second book was The Pumpkin Plan. And that was the book that caught me. A little over 2 years ago, I purchased it right before a trip, and I took it on the trip, read it. I had the whole book flagged. It's still flagged with all these things. Funny, interesting thing, I came back so excited, but I implemented nothing. Ever been there? We get all this information and we don't do anything with it, right? And in that book, he kind of talked about the Profit First. Well, I've been following Mike for a long time. And I'm not going to guarantee it, but I thought about it early this morning. he's going to be in town in November, and I'm going to try and see if I can get him here. So at least show up for the, for the meeting. But anyway, so he came out with Profit First. So I immediately bought the book because I loved the pumpkin plan. And I, remembered him talking about it a little bit in the pumpkin plan, but it actually was a process, and I implemented it as soon as I read the book. Read the book over a weekend. Monday morning, I implemented the program. And it was a total mind shift for me, mainly around money. Day one, I had profit and I had owner's pay. Day one that I implemented it. It was a total money shift mindset for me, totally. And then another thing is my expenses. I no longer look at expenses as expenses, I look at them as investments. Because they need to be investments for your company, and you have to start looking and making sure that those expenses that you call expenses or investments are giving you an ROI. It's too easy to get wrapped up into giving everybody else our money. So has anybody ever, I know that Einstein has come up with this, but we talk about the same old thing, we have the same old thinking, we get the same old results, right? We do it over and over again, thinking it's going to change and it doesn't. Well, that's where we are with our accounting. So does anybody know what GAAP stands for? Right. And that's what we've been taught.
You get the award.
You get the award. I was waiting for Dale. I knew Dale was going to say it. But this is how we were taught. We were taught the process of sales minus expenses equal profit. Correct? That's what we were all taught, right? And that's what we generally, does everybody do that? Right. But it's a broken formula if you really want to make the money that you really want personally, and especially for small business owners. So it's based on, we want to talk about Parkinson's law, and I'm not talking about Parkinson's disease, I'm talking about Parkinson's law, where our demand upon a resource tends to expand the amount of that resource we have. So let me give you an example. Toothpaste. Nice big tube of toothpaste. Don't you just love it? It fits so good in your hand. Well, you put that bead of toothpaste on your toothbrush. You stick it under the water and it falls off. Anybody had that happen? Right. Well, so, we just rinse it down the drain and we put another bead of toothpaste and we continue to brush our teeth. But then we get down to the end of the tube. Don't have much left in that. So we squeeze it out. We stick it under the faucet and it falls out. What do? We scoop it up out of the sink and use it, right? Anybody been there? Okay. We're not going to waste it because we have very little. So the same thing is with our time, right? Our work expands to fill the amount of time we have. You have a project due in 2 weeks, it's going to be due in 2 weeks. You give this same project 5 weeks, it'll take you 5 weeks to do it. Same way with our money. We have money, our bank account goes up, and we spend money. So does everybody agree that this formula is possibly broken? Yes? So the fix is that we look at sales minus profit equals our expenses. And you always take your profit first. So that's based on the book. So how many does online banking, or at least look at their bank online? How many look on their mobile phones? And how many look at least 3 times a week? Right. So the whole thing with bank balance accounting is, everybody's saying you shouldn't be doing that because that money's in the bank, and that's really not true because you haven't taken effect everything else. But this system will allow you to take a habit you already have and make it as a benefit and asset for you. So I look at it the same way as when my husband and I got married and bought our first house. Well, I shouldn't say our first, it's the same house we're in. Our house. And I would have envelopes, literally like this. So every paycheck, he'd cash his check and I'd put it in envelopes so that we would have money to pay for the things we had to pay. Anybody been there? So it's really effective process. So that it's kind of the same thing. So with Profit First, you're going to have 5 bank accounts. And that might seem overwhelming, but it really, truly isn't. You're going to have an income account, you're going to have a profit account, and you're going to have an owner's pay account. And you're going to have a tax account so that you have that money for when Uncle Sam comes knocking at the door. And then you have an operating expense account. So there's a calculation that you do to be able to figure out where your percentages should be. And you're going to start off very small, but this calculation sheet you have on your table so you can take it home with you and look at it, okay? But basically you're going to figure out what your profit percentage should be, what your owner's pay percentage should be, and your taxes. And then the balance is your operating expense. So to implement it, twice per month, 10th and 25th, you're going to take whatever percentage that you're going to use and you're going to allocate it from your deposits, whatever your top deposits have been, and you're going to put it into those accounts. That gets kind of a little scary, right? Because of all of a sudden, that money that we had to spend has shrunk. But that's the ideal part of it. That's what I love about this, is it forces you to be a savvy business owner. And it forces you to look at that money that's going out the door that we spend without even thinking about it. Oh yeah, that's the next big thing. Oh yeah, that's the magic wand that's going to make my business so great. And it's not that those things aren't out there, they are, but you have to make a good decision. So quarterly, you're going to then take that money that's in the profit account and you're going to split it, and that's your owner's bonus. And the other half stays in the company until you build enough money that you can run your business successfully for 3 months if another dollar didn't come in the door. So it's back to what we were taught as children, is pay yourself first, right? So you split the profits and then you adjust your percentages. Now, I can hear you saying, well, I can't afford whatever that said over there, 25% or 50% profit, whatever you come up with. But the plan is really that simple. You just basically, it's not as easy as it is simple. You just have to do it. You have to be committed to this program. So before I just finish up real quick, and I know I did this pretty fast, does anybody have any really specific questions that they want to ask before I kind of finish up here?
You said quarter fine.
There are some banks, and we really recommend that you do 2 banks for the profit and for your profit account and your owner's pay account, so that you don't borrow. You don't rob Peter to pay Paul. You're going to start off very small, so it's not like, okay, we're going to do this, these high percentages at the beginning. You're going to do it very slow so that you can work in and start tweaking it. So, are you ready to be wildly successful and make lots of profit? What do I hear?
Yeah.
Okay. So I challenge you just to open one more bank account, just one. To start off really small, take 1%. So 1% of your deposits, the end of the week, go into that profit account. And as you see that money start building, it will change your life and your business as it has mine. So I can do it. You can do it. And I do have some of Mike's books with me, and I also have my book that's here today. So do we have any more time left? Yeah. We're done? Okay, so I'll kind of